Hello and welcome to Birdsnest Designs. It is Tuesday, time for our weekly tutorial Tuesday. Thank you for joining in. Whether you're here live, say hello, or if you're catching the replay after the fact, let me know you're here watching. Hello, Carol, welcome. My name is Denise Cox, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Trail, British Columbia, Canada, and I come live here every week, Tuesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Time, to share a card tutorial with you, have a little stamping fun, and just show you some new products, some new techniques, and just get a little crafty. So, hi Sherry, welcome. Today we are going to talk about the Taco Fiesta stamp set because this one has stolen my heart. It kind of snuck right in there. It wasn't one that was really on my radar, but now that I've used it a bit, I am loving it. It is super cute, it's witty, it's funny, it's just all the things. So if you like to have something a little different and you like to do some coloring and just have something cute, this is definitely one stamp set you're going to want to look at. So it is on page 48, I believe. Let me just double check that. It's on page 48 of the mini catalog. Of course, you can purchase it in my online store as well. And it is adorable, super adorable. So this month, my Handmade at Home class series is has launched. It's ready. It's open for registration. You can register up until February 1st. And this month's kit features the Taco Fiesta stamp set along with the Conversation Bubbles dies. Hello, Renee. Welcome. So it's a fabulous fun set, and I'm going to show you a little sneak peek when we get down to the desk view. I won't show you all of it, but a little sneak peek of what those cards are going to look like. I designed 3 of them, and Ashley Pfeiffer designs the other one from Stamped AF. She does the other 3. We combine them, and we come up with these really great class kits for you to purchase. Celebration is still going on, so I just want to remind you all about that. So this awesome brochure here. The join offer is still on. I am halfway to my goal of adding new members to my team to get this boho blue mini machine. So if you're at all interested in a really great deal, doing some smart shopping and checking off your wish list, join my team, and it is a super great way to do that right now. So you can reach out to me later with comments or questions about that deal. We've talked about it before. It's all posted in my newsletters. It's just a really, really great offer. So without further ado, I am going to flip the camera down to my desk. Here we go. Okay. And I'm just going to show you the stamps that we're going to be working with. So as I mentioned, it is the Taco Fiesta stamp set. Absolutely adorable. You can find it on page 48, right here. And this is the $1 Million Achiever Erica Serwin stamp set that she helped design. Love this, and I love her project she shares. She's one super talented demonstrator, so if you ever get a chance, check her out. But this is the stamp set that she designed when she got her $1 Million Achievement. So I love it. It's super cute. It's fun. And we're going to do some fun stamping with it. Now, as I mentioned, my Handmade at Home stamp class is a class to go kit. And it features this stamp set along with the Conversation Bubbles dies. Okay, so we've got some really, really fun projects using the dies with the stamp set. You can register, like I said, by February 1st. The link is in the description of today's video here on Facebook, and I'll also include it in the YouTube description when I upload it to my channel. So we are going to, like I said, I designed 3 cards. Ashley from Stamped AF has designed the other 3. Here's a really quick peek of the 3 that I've got going on. So you're going to want to get that kit. It is adorable. You get the 6 projects along with written tutorials and video tutorials. You get half a pack of Regal's 12 by 12, not 12 by 12, 6 by 6 designer series paper, a roll of linen thread, and a package of classic matte dots. So it has got everything you're going to need aside from the stamp set and the dies, which you can add on. Okay, lots of information through the link. So if you're interested, go on over there and check it all out. Hi, Tina, welcome. And Gail, thank you for being here. Okay, so here's the card we're going to create today. I don't know if you guys can check out those layers in there. See how it's got these windows here? So this is just a really fun card, nice and bright colors. And on the front it says, "You spice up my life, your nacho average friend." I just love it. It makes me smile every time I use the stamp set. Now I am featuring it all week long on my blog. So head on over there, createwithbirdsnest.ca, and you can find all of my posts there. If you're watching this on YouTube, like and subscribe the video, and you'll be updated every time I upload a new video. Okay, so on Monday, I shared this card on my blog. I just love it. Long time, no taco. Just check out this guy with his cute little mustache and his sombrero. I love it, okay? I want to see in the comments too, guys, what is your thoughts on this stamp? Is it already in your collection? Is it on your wish list? Is it one you overlooked? I bet you by the end of tonight, you're gonna love it. And this one here is one that I will feature on Friday with all of the written tutorial for you in my blog post. So make sure you check it out. This one says, "Holy guacamole, it's your birthday." Just so cute. All right. Oh, Renee loves it. I'm with you, Renee. This is a super cute one. Okay, so let's get started to create our card. I've got all of the pieces here prepared. I didn't want to do a ton of fussy cutting on film with you guys because that gets, I'm sure, a little boring. So we're going to start with a Daffodil Delight card base. I love this because it's nice and bright, and this stamp set just screams bright, bold colors. So it's a regular card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Okay. So we'll go ahead and we'll fold that on the score line. We'll use a bone folder to make that nice and crisp. And then we're actually just going to set it off to the side for now. So we are going to use the Picture This dies. Now these are in the annual catalog. They're $47. They don't come as a bundle. They're standalone dies. And let me just show you. So these are 2 dies, okay? One, you're going to cut out all of these circles. So you'll have great circles to use as embellishments on your projects. You'll also have the reverse image, okay? This one is rectangles with stitching. So when you cut them out, I will show you this because this is one we're going to use. You get stitching on the rectangles, but you also get stitching around the frames. So we are going to actually use the negative image tonight on our card. So let me just put those aside and show you what I mean. So this was just a regular 3 3/4 by 5 piece of white cardstock that I cut out using this die. Okay, so I just cut it out like that. Now, if you look real close, I'll hold it up to the camera, you can see that there's stitching lines along each of those cutouts, right? So the frame is framed with stitching. The ones that came out of there, we're not using them. Well, we're going to use one, but I wanted to show you that they also have stitching. So this is a really fabulous die set, and it's one that I love having in my collection. So we've got our frame. Like I said, we're going to use this negative image. And the outer edge of the cardstock is 3 3/4 by 5, as I mentioned. We've got another piece here, and this one measures 4 by 5 1/4. Okay. What we want to do is attach this to here. Okay. And there's 2 ways we can do this. We could be really, really sure of ourselves and our stamping, and we could put it on with dimensionals now and then stamp. But because I'm live and sometimes there's lots of bloopers when I go live, I think we're just going to do it the safe way. So stay tuned. All right. So what I want to do is, you'll notice in this card that in each window there is a kind of like a little cluster of images. So we're going to start in the middle. Okay. And we're going to need some Memento ink. You can see there's going to be quite a bit of coloring going on. And we're going to start with the sentiment. So the sentiment I've chosen for the middle is, "You spice up my life." So what I'm going to do is, this is just laying here in place, right? It's not glued down. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to stamp it over towards the left and in the center of this framed cutout. Okay, so just like that. Now, there are these adorable little party favor things here, like almost like confetti with candy, like what would fall out of a piñata, right? So we're going to take those and we're going to stamp them down here in the left of this window. And up here, I'm just going to turn it a bit so it looks different. Up here in the right of this window. Okay, so here's the start of our card. And then, because we're talking about spicing up our lives, we need some hot chilies in this card. So I've got the little itty bitty chili pepper here. There are two, which I love. There's a large one here and a small one. And the other thing I love about those is that they're facing opposite directions, which is always fun. So let's start by putting one pepper here, right on the end of the life. And then we'll just turn it a bit and we'll do another one close to it, right here. Oh, see, this is why. This is why we stamped it. Let me see if I can get enough with the camera over top of me to get that stamped in place. Ooh, this is where my Stamparatus would come in real handy. Okay, well, that didn't really work. So let's flip that. No, we're not going to flip it. We're going to make it work. We are going to make it work. Because I can't be the first person who's made a little boo-boo on stamping. So let's proceed, and maybe you'll pick up a tip or two along the way of how you can, you know, make the best out of something when that happens. Okay, so we've got our candies, we've got our peppers, we've got our sentiment. Now, what I want to stamp is a sweet little cactus. Okay, so how many of you watching have made these type of little boo-boos before? And I want to see, because, like I said, I can't be the only one, right? Okay, so we're going to take the cactus, and I want him to be stamped right here beside the candy. All right. Okay, loving it. So that is all we need to do beneath our frame. So now I'm going to remove the frame and I'm going to come in and do some stamping. Or sorry, not stamping. We've already done the stamping. We're going to do some coloring. So I'm starting with, I want Old Olive. So I've got, oh dear, I've got too many colors here. I've got dark and light Old Olive. And I'm going to, now I need to remember that some of my markers are, the ends have been a little frayed. So I've got them on order, but of course my order was due to arrive yesterday and it's stuck in customs. So we're just going to improvise with what we got. Normally I do like to use the other, more of a brush tip, but this one will make do with this end because this end is better than my frayed end. Okay, so here we've got our cactus. Oh, I'm seeing I'm not alone. There's lots of us who make these bloopers, so that makes me feel better. So we'll just go through and we'll disguise it, we'll hide it, we'll fix it all up. Okay, so I'm coloring in my cactus. You'll notice I outlined the outside of it in dark Old Olive, and now I'm just coloring it in with my light. That is typically my system. Start with the dark and work into the light. Okay, so we've got the cactus colored. I'm going to use Real Red and Daffodil Delight to color the candy up here. Okay, so I love this color palette. It's just like I said before, it's so nice and bright. It's cheerful, especially in these dreary winter days we're having here in the Kootenays. This is nice and bright and fun. Okay, so we've got that one. And then I'm going to take the yellow and I'm going to use my dark yellow because it's a little even brighter. And I'm just going to outline these little streamers or whatever these are here. Color in the rest of my thing. And then I'm going to switch it up down here and I'm going to color these ones yellow. I'm going to outline these again. The streamers can be the same color. And these candies are going to be green and yellow. Let's use the light green. Okay. All right, so now we're going to fix our peppers up here. So I'm going to color them as though they are jalapenos, okay? So because I did this blooper, now on my original card, I colored both of these in Old Olive. But Mossy Meadow is slightly darker, right? And jalapenos, the riper they get, the darker they get until they turn red. So we're going to use Mossy Meadow because it's darker. And we're going to highlight around the edge. And with any luck, we're going to hide my little stamping boo-boo there. Ooh, I think we may have succeeded. Okay, so we'll just color this in. It's a really nice and plump jalapeno. So we're going to do one in the Mossy Meadow, and then I'm going to stick to my original design of the Old Olive. And come in and do this. And where's my Old Olive light? Okay, and then I'm just going to take my, what color are we going to do? I'm going to take my dark Mossy Meadow and just color in this stem really quick here. And we're going to do the same over here, even though it's going to blend in. That's okay. Okay, so there is the stamped images. The only thing left to do is to put this cute little smiley face. And when you get this stamp set, you get 4 faces to choose from, plus one with this adorable mustache, okay? So lots of options to customize your creations. So using the Tuxedo Black, I am going to just stamp the face on top. Now you could have done this before you colored them, but it doesn't really matter. So we're gonna do it last, okay? All right, so now let's go ahead and put on our frame. And of course, I wanna use dimensionals because I love dimensionals. So I've got a bunch of remnant sheets here, left from my amazing catalog launch party I had on Friday night. Oh my goodness, it was so much fun. I had 40 stampers attend. We played some games and won some prizes, and we made some cards. It was absolutely a blast. I had so much fun. But I do have all these remnant dimensionals left from the card making session, so we're going to use those up. We feel like we need one right there, but let's use, well, we can always use these little edges too, right? I always cut those up. I don't like it when my pop-up pieces have saggy bits, so I don't like it when they sag in the middle. So we're gonna give this lots and lots of dimensionals. Okay, all right, there we go. Oh, maybe one more right there. This is when using those edge pieces comes in super handy. Okay, so let's take the tops off, the backs off of these. All right. And we're gonna put the frame over top. I just love how it creates these windows. And of course you could put like window sheets behind this as well. Oh my gosh, I used a lot of dimensionals. And make like shakers in behind all of these as well. But for this card, that wasn't really necessary. So we're just gonna put it down like so. Okay, now check that out. Isn't that adorable? It's got some dimension on it and it's got these nice, cute little windows. All right, so that can get attached to our card base now. So remember, we use this bright, fun Daffodil Delight card base. You can hardly even tell I mucked up on that little pepper here. Hello, Sherry, welcome. Yes, you finally made it. Okay, so now, as I mentioned, I have cut a few of these out ahead of time. So on a piece of basic white, I stamped the piñata. I stamped 2 of the large chilies. Ooh, can't pick them up. I stamped the taco and the sombrero, and I cut them all out. So you guys don't have to watch me cut everything. And now we're just going to do a really quick color of these chili peppers, and they could be any color we want, obviously, but I love, like I mentioned before, I love this color combo of red, green, and yellow. So we're gonna use that. We're gonna use this bright real red. And I wanted to color these. So I want you guys to see just how easy they are. And honestly, the images are not that hard to fussy cut. So don't be intimidated if you're one that's not really fond of fussy cutting. I personally don't mind it. I find it a little bit relaxing. Just kind of zone out and cut. Cut out some paper. Okay, and then I want this to be a bit darker around the top, so I'm just going to scroll in with my marker a little bit like that. Okay, and then we'll take the light real red, and there's not a lot of difference between these two markers. When you're first coloring, it's kind of like, oh, there's no difference, but there actually is. And once you get it colored, you can see the difference in the shading. So we'll color this one too. All right, then we'll go ahead and color the tops. So I want to do those in, I'm going to just put my Mossy Meadow back because I keep grabbing the wrong colors. I'm going to color those in Old Olive, and I need to use this end because the other one is a little bit mucked up. Okay, so I'm just coloring these in, not worrying about shading this small little section, although you could, but I'm not going to. Okay, so we've got 2 chili peppers cut. So now what we want to do is we want to stick them onto our card. So to do that, again, we're going to use dimensionals because I want them to be outside of these windows. So I'm going to take 1 dimensional and I'm going to just kind of shove it here in the corner of this window, peel that off, and then I can stick my pepper on there, like so. Okay. I'm going to do one over here as well, but this one I want to be higher. So I'm going to put the dimensional on the actual frame itself, peel that off, and stick this one on here. Okay, now you could add faces to these peppers if you wanted as well. I chose not to. I'm going to focus faces on some of the other stamped images. So there's our peppers done. Now let's do this cute little taco because this is probably, well, I don't know. I was going to say my favorite stamp of the whole collection, but I can't say that for sure either. It is my favorite to color, however. So I'm just going to use my Daffodil Delight, and I'm doing a nice thick outer edge. Ooh, that one went a little far. Okay, and then I'm just going to kind of give a little bit of highlight in this corner here where these dots are. Okay, and then light Daffodil Delight. Now these ones you can see there's a substantial difference in the colors, right? You see that? There's very much difference. So the more you blend the colors off, so if I'm pulling from the dark into the center, right? The more you do that, the more those 2 colors are going to blend together and the more shading you're going to get on your project. Okay, and I'm intentionally not going right into the center because I kind of like how it has that sheen now, like a light is hitting it. So I'll bring it up a little closer so you guys can see how that turned out. Okay, and now my taco has lettuce and tomatoes on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and use I'm gonna use Old Olive for my lettuce sections here. And again, they're really small pieces, so I'm not going to bother with shading them. So we've got this. And then we'll do this end one as well. Okay, so there we've colored the lettuce. And then I'll grab my real red. I prefer the other end, and it never fails. I always open the wrong end. Okay, so we're going to just color this one in. Okay, those are the tomatoes on the outside of our taco. Perfect. Okay, now this part is super fun. So we're going to stamp a face on our taco here, and we're going to use this adorable little mustache guy. So right in the center. Stamp that down. Oh my god. It's so cute. Okay. I love this stamp. Like I said, it's not one that jumped out at me right off the bat, if I'm being honest, but I am so glad that I added it to my collection. Okay, so our little taco here that we've colored, look at how adorable. Okay, we're going to put this right here next to our cactus. So I'm going to put a couple of dimensionals. The reason I'm putting them on here as opposed to on the back like I usually do is because I don't want the dimensions to end up over on this side, because then it's going to be uneven and too bumpy for me. Okay, so we're going to take this and we're going to stick that down there. And then we're going to take the sombrero right here. And we're going to color that really quick. So I'm going to color it. It's a little hard to color because it's very small to hold on to. But normally I would color and then cut out, but as I mentioned, I wanted to have these cut out ahead of time so you weren't watching me fussy cut with a camera over top of my work area. That's a little challenging sometimes. Okay, so we're going to color the brim like that red. And then I'm going to use some crumb cake. So I've got my dark crumb cake here. Let me just double check it. Dark crumb cake. And we're going to color the bottom in a dark. And then the top part we are going to blend. So I'm just going to go around like this and across, give it a little bit of shading, and then come in with my light crumb cake and give it some fill in color. And as you can see, that kind of just blended that top hat. Maybe you can't see. I'll just pull it up a little closer to the camera here. So it's not focusing on it, it's too small. But anyway, you can see hopefully you can see there's a little bit of shading there on top of the hat. So that is going to get attached to our cactus like this. So we need a mini dimensional. And we're going to stick this. Again, I'm going on in the picture frame because I don't want this to go above. And I've got it centered right above the cacti's head. Okay. And then we'll come in with our sombrero and we'll stick it on, and I want it on a bit of an angle. Okay. So cute. I just love it. Oh my goodness. It's adorable. Okay, one more piece to do. So now we've got to fix our bottom window here. And we're going to do that by coloring in this adorable piñata. So I've got yellow. I'm going to use my bright Daffodil Delight yellow in the dark. I'm just going to color all these little features on this adorable piñata. I used to love when my parents would get me piñatas for my birthday. It was so much fun just to like hit them with the sticks and wait for the candy to fall out. I loved it. All right. Okay, so we're coloring this yellow, this blanket that our piñata is wearing. And then we'll use red. Gail likes Mr. Taco too. He's adorable. All right, so here is the red color. We're going to color this in strips here. See, I'm not using very many colors. I think I only have 5 colors of blends out, and we're coloring all these images. So you don't always need like a ton of supplies to create these cards. And of course, you could switch them up and use whatever colors you have in your collection too. These are just what I have chosen. So we're going to color this part in green. Okay, so there's our piñata colored, but I want to give it a little more oomph. So as you can see, it's just kind of white with the colored blanket, but I do want to give it some oomph. So I've got my crumb cakes like I mentioned before, and I'm going to use the dark, and I'm going to color in the nose. Okay, and then I'm going to color the tail. Oh, I've lost track of where there we go. Okay. There we go. Sometimes coloring with the camera over top isn't all it's cracked out to be either, but that's okay. So now I'm going to use my light crumb cake, and I'm just going to go around really quick and highlight around the edges. Okay. Again, if you can color these before you cut them out, it is a little easier to hang on to them. And I'm just going around. It's this is not a perfect thing. This is just something to add a little, you'll see it'll make it kind of pop. So I'm not worrying about whether or not I was crossing into the yellow. Come down this one like that. Okay, so now when I hold up the camera, hopefully you'll be able to see that outline and see how it just kind of gives it that little bit of pop. And it really makes a difference just to outline that in that nice light color. Okay, so now we can go ahead and we can attach that to our bottom window here. Now for this one, because as you can see, the majority of our piñata is actually over top of the window. So that's going to be easy to place our dimensionals. So we will put those ones behind. So I want one behind his head and two on his body here. So then we can attach this guy. Just like that. Okay, so they're almost on the front. Now, of course, we do need to have, well, where did I put my bling? I just had it a minute ago. Let me just go grab it. I wonder if it's stuck to my, hold on one moment. I'm wondering if I was trying to clean up, and this is how I keep all my embellishments in this cute little basket. And I wonder if I was getting ahead of myself and threw them back in here. Because I do not see them here on the table. Wow, my goodness. We may have to improvise with something else if I've misplaced them. So what I've used here on this card, as you can see, are the rhinestones. Now, watch, you guys can probably see them sitting on my desk somewhere, and I'm just overlooking them because they are not in this basket either. What the heck? What did I do with them? Very strange. Very, very, very strange. All right. I can't be the only one who loses things on my desk either, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and improvise then. So as I mentioned in my opening to our video today, that this is the stamp set that we are featuring in the Handmade at Home class. So registration is open until February 1st. And since how I've misplaced my real red rhinestones, we're going to make some. So I actually have rhinestones in here. I do. So if you don't have the real red, or you've misplaced them like I have, you can just grab your regular rhinestones. Okay, and your red Stampin' Blends. Now it does need to be a Stampin' Blend. The other ones won't work. The Stampin' Write markers, they will not work because they're water-based. These are alcohol-based, which is what makes them work for this. So I have 5 of them. So I'm just going to color 5. See how easy that is? Okay. Perfect. So mystery solved. Oh, Carol, I'm so glad to hear you lose things all the time too on your desk. I don't know. I'm going to clean up and they're going to be right in front of me. Anyway, this works too. And I got to show you another little technique in case you're ever finding yourself not having the right colored rhinestones. Okay. So there's the front of our card. Now, as I mentioned, I do like to include something in the center, and I wanted to show you, we're going to use the cutouts from that Picture This Die. So these have the stitching on them. My camera doesn't want to pick it up, but that's okay. And it's got "You Spice Up My Life" on the front, and then the inside I'm going to put "Your Nacho Average Friend." Because it's so cute. I just want to use it. So let's go ahead. We're going to stamp that in black. And I'm going to stamp it over. I had to check to see what I did because I really like the way the inside turned out. I'm going to stamp it here on the right edge. Okay. And then I'm going to grab this little tiny chili again. And I'm going to be more careful of the way I stamp it. And I do just want to put 2 chilies on the end here. Like that. And then we'll give them a quick color with my olive. Yes, Gail, I agree. You color the rhinestones before you put them on your card, because if you don't and your marker slips, you're going to end up with that color on your card, not where you want it. And then you'll be forced to put another bling there to hide that mark. So coloring them while they're on their rhinestone sheet is the best advice I can give you. Okay. So there, we're going to color that guy in. Okay, and then of course we've got our little stems there, and we'll just use the same as we did on the front. We'll just use a little bit of mossy meadow. Put that lid on before I end up with black ink everywhere. This is our card insert, so I'm going to go ahead and put that on the inside of my card. Glue is coming out of there funny. Yeah, here it's peeking over the edge. Okay. All right, so then we'll just glue this guy right in the center. Now we could have just stamped this in the center too, but because I had these cute little cutouts and I like the little stitching detail around the outer edge, we can just stick that in there. There we have it. Isn't that adorable? I love it. So let me know in the comments if you're a fan of this Taco Fiesta set or not. Maybe you're still not sold, but I know I am. I absolutely love it. It's so super cute. And as I mentioned before, here are some other cards that I've created to share on my blog this week. Look at the little avocado with his mustache. It's so cute. Okay, so let me just flip the camera back up here so I can say goodbye. And thank you all for being here. I really appreciate you coming and spending some of your evening here with me in my craft room as I stamp and do some creating with you. So I am loving the Taco Fiesta stamp set. And I hope that after watching this video, maybe you have a little more appreciation and love for it as well. So if you're interested in joining Ashley and I for our Handmade at Home class kits, then please follow the link that's in this description of the video. And actually, I can put it, I'll write it in the comments right now as well. So there is the link if you want to join. And it comes up and she has a little icon there as well. So it's a sneak peek of the 6 cards along the top there. It is going to be a super fun class. This is our second month doing the Handmade at Home together. And because it's celebration, if you add the stamp and the dies, so it would be the Taco Fiesta stamp and the Conversation Bubbles dies to your kit, there's no tax and no shipping that we're going to charge you. So you're just going to pay the catalog price for the add-ons. And we're going to include the Adorable Owls stamp set as your celebration. If you already have that, then by all means, you can substitute it. But it will come with a 4-card tutorial, a printed tutorial for you to recreate cards using that Adorable Owl stamp set. So it's a great class to get in on, and I hope that you'll join us. Thank you so much for being here today with me and for stamping. I love having you here, and I love going back and reading your comments. So let me know what you think of the card. And I will talk to you guys all next week when I'm back for Tutorial Tuesday next week, which, oh my goodness, will be the very last day of January. Crazy. Time is just going so fast. So again, remember to please, if you're interested in joining my team and grabbing this cute boho blue mini cut and emboss machine, leave me a comment or send me a message and I can send you the link to let you know how to get onto that. Okay? Cheers, everybody. Have a wonderful evening.